Hey, God bless you, Dax Hammer here. Welcome to this video. And what I want to do here in this video is just be a little bit more transparent with some of the moves that I'm going to be making and how I'm going to transition and move this channel forward. So you may have subscribed, and you subscribed because you watched a gear review or me talking about a certain technique or something of the sort. And that's still going to be most of what I am going to be making videos about. But recently I decided to pursue rapping again. Now, you know me as a producer, as a guy who mixes, but recently I decided to pick up again my passion for rapping. Now, you might be like, okay, so what? Some backstory here. I started rapping when I was, actually it's the first thing that I started doing musically. When I was about 12, I heard my brother, actually he tried to rap for a while, and he showed me one of his verses. Whether it was good or not, I forgot, but I was super inspired at that moment watching my older brother rap a verse, and I said, that looks really cool. So as an 11, 12-year-old kid, I decided to go into my room right then and there and start penciling my first rap on loose leaf, and it just never stopped. Like, I didn't stop. I think he stopped after a couple days, but I just never stopped because that's the thing that I do. Like, that is who I am. I everything of who I am when it comes to just what I do for a living, my creative pursuits, everything is music. Like, I can't deviate too far from that and be fulfilled. So most of what I did throughout my career has been rapping. And back in 2017, I finally called it quits. Not because it wasn't working, but I finally came to the realization that I am too scared to be the front and center, person. I have too much social anxiety to go on stage and travel and perform. I was looking for comfort. I was not looking to be stretched. And I think it's been one of my biggest regrets in my life, because I recognize that there would be nothing else. There is nothing else in this world that would grow my character, that would stretch me to such a degree that I would be changed and different. And I would live my life knowing that in the distant future, when I'm old and gray, that I would look back and say, despite how hard it was, I did the hard thing, and I am super happy that I did. Producing, mixing, YouTube channel, content creation, all of that stuff is cool. Getting behind a camera where there's nobody watching, it's just a lens, isn't as challenging as going in front of people or, releasing a brand new song, being vulnerable and just being comfortable in who I am. Like, there's nothing more fulfilling in terms of my creativity, my artistic creativity, than that. But in 2017, I called it quits. And yeah, it's been a big regret of mine, because it's what, now 2024, and it's like every other week, I still get that inspiration to rap again. And a lot of times I suppress it because now, as I'm a little bit older, I have a family, I have kids, and it just doesn't seem to be something that would fit in how I'm trying to provide for them. Like YouTube channel, content creation, selling beats, mixing, all of that stuff can work into how I could now be a responsible father and husband. But rapping almost seems like childish to me, because I don't know how I'm going to be able to provide for my family doing this, knowing that it's going to require a lot of time, time away from the ways that I am providing for them. So this has been the ongoing struggle in my mind for a lot of years. And just this past week, I decided to act on the inspiration, which I've done in the past, but I feel a little bit more motivated now. I feel different this time around than I did before. Like, I would release a song or a verse or whatever, and wake up the next day and feel ashamed or foolish. I can't believe I was vulnerable like that. I can't believe that, gosh, it probably sounds terrible. Like, people know so much about me now. Why do I think that way? But that's just the way that I think. And I feel foolish for doing that. And I go back and listen, and I'm kind of like ashamed or not satisfied with my, what I thought was dope. I don't feel that way about beats. I don't feel that way about mixes. Like, but for some reason, as an artist, I feel that way. And this time around, I did not feel that way. I felt like really encouraged. Like, I liked my delivery of what I released on social media. I released one verse on social media, quick 16-bar verse.
Stuck in my mind trap. One day I make a post and say that I rap, spit a rhyme that makes people think that I'm back. I hijack the mic jack, it's plugged in. Then Satan rushes in and fights back. Then I'm right back to producing some other guy's track.
And I really liked how I sounded. Yeah, I could improve. There's certain things I'm like, yeah, I should have probably, you know, maybe have studied the verse more before I actually laid it down. But I just wrote it and laid it down right away. And I was really happy with my tone of voice, which I'm usually not. Like, I'm one of them guys that like really hates the way that he sounds behind a microphone when he's rapping. But I was satisfied. And I'm like, okay, there might be something to this. Let me capitalize on this energy moving forward. But a big part of me that wants to rap isn't just because I have a passion to rap. Because if it was up to me and my passion to rap, I would have just left it back in 2017 and never would have opened the box back up again and picked the mic back up. I would have never, because for me, it doesn't make sense for what I'm trying to do now. It doesn't make sense with my goals. It doesn't make sense with my values and what I'm trying to accomplish in life. It just doesn't make sense to start rapping again, especially now that I'm a little bit older. But the reason I continue to try to pursue this rapping thing is because I feel, as a Christian, that it might be God nudging me. There might be something or somebody that needs to hear what I have to say. And he might be trying to get me to do that. And he's so gracious and so patient when it comes to my pushback with his will for my life and his purpose for my life. I'm like, man, it's been years of this and I'm still getting that same nudge, inspiration. And sometimes I'm like, that's got to be God. Other times I'm like, nah, that's probably just me. But I've concluded that if it's God pushing me or it's just my passion, at the end of the day, it doesn't hurt to try. But you got to give it some time. I got to give it at least a year to see like what fruit I can bear from this pursuit. And if it is God, then it's going to be very fulfilling fruit, because, you know, if my purpose is to see people come to Christ through my message, which I can't really accomplish producing beats. Like, yeah, sure, I can get artists that will do and speak the message over my beats, but it's not the same. Like, I feel like, you know, I kind of feel like you got the missionary that goes out on the mission field, and you got the person in their comfortable home that, you know, will go online and donate their money to the mission field. And both are necessary. But when you were once a missionary and now you're the one donating, it's kind of like you feel like you want to get back out in the mission field, you know, because it just feels like there's more purpose when you're actually putting your feet on the dirt and living what it is that you're passionate about doing. So I'm thinking about the people in my life that need to hear this message, and there's a lot of them. And I'm like, maybe they're not hearing it, or maybe they're not receiving it from somebody telling it to them if they heard it. Maybe the people that I've talked this message of the grace of Jesus Christ to their life didn't resonate that way for whatever reason. You know, maybe God is sovereignly using the music that I make to speak into their life. I won't know unless I make it. And maybe that's not the case, but hey, it's a worthy pursuit. So that's why I'm rapping again. And that's why I'm making this video, to hold myself accountable. Would be one of the reasons why. One of the main reasons why I'm making this video and letting you know about this is to hold myself accountable, so that I know that I told the public. This video might get 3 views, or it might get 30,000. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I made a public statement to keep myself in check, to remind myself that I'm going to do this. I'm going to pursue rapping. And it's not because I feel like I just want to be a rapper. It's because of the bigger picture. There's something greater involved that I want to be a part of. So the channel is going to remain the same. The only transition is I feel like I'm going to include and incorporate some of my updates and my journey. Not because I want to just share this with you, you know, to talk about me. I kind of like, because I was like, what value is that? Unless I have a significant following that signed up for and subscribed to hear me talk about my journey. And I don't think that that's been the case necessarily, but I'm like, there's got to be people that are just like me, that are experiencing the same thing that I'm experiencing when it comes to trying to pursue a craft, or, you know, being scared about, you know, putting themselves out there, or whatever the case may be. There's got to be people that are relating to this. And I'm like, maybe I could make content that could reach that person and encourage and inspire anybody that's not pursuing something because, you know, they don't feel like they're good enough. They got imposter syndrome. Definitely, I have imposter syndrome. Or they're scared. They have social anxiety. They don't want to put themselves out there. They want to just create behind the scenes. Maybe this will help you. And that's why I'm like, I should include a segment on my channel that just gives updates, weekly updates of my successes, my failures, things that I'm trying, songs that I'm working on. And I think a lot of the tutorials and the reviews, which will still be there, I still intend to put out weekly tutorials and weekly reviews of plugins and gear and whatnot. But I think it's always going to be kind of like with the vibe or the understanding that I'm pursuing something that's much bigger than me. So it's not just like, hey, I was making this beat for this artist, or hey, I'm mixing this song for this artist, which it could be, but it's more so going to be like anybody that subscribes and follows the channel will know that most of what I'm working on is in pursuit of the greater purpose for my life. So you're not only going to learn how to EQ a kick drum as I learn it, but you're going to also get inspired by why I'm making this video in the first place if you watch more of my content. So I hope that makes sense. In my mind, it does, because I'm inspired to just be more of a human being. I don't want to make every video that's super SEO friendly. Like, you know, every video starts off with, are you suffering with how to compress a vocal? You know, like, well, in this video, I'm going to give you 5 tips. Like, that might be good for the YouTube algorithm and that might solve problems, and I'm all for that. But it's just cool to be like, yo, what's going on? Dax Hammer here again, here to share with you some updates of my journey and kind of like speak to you, you know, like build a subscriber base of people that are not only interested in my journey, but want to apply what I'm currently doing in my journey, you know? So this is not going to be some super formatted thing all the time. Maybe it will be, but my goal is to kind of just relate with people more, and I hope that I'm communicating that in a way that's understandable. So I've always struggled with trying to understand what God's purpose is for my life. Like, does God want me to rap or not, you know? And a lot of times in that struggle to try to comprehend and get clarity from God, I just get confused and discouraged because I never get the answer that I want. Like, it's never written in the sky, and I understand that I'm probably gonna have to put work in, get the experience, put time in, to then over time see the fruit and then be able to say, like, I think I see God's hand in this, versus God's just going to lay it all out before me so that I can then walk with more clarity. Like, I feel that I have to walk with more faith before I get clarity. And an encouraging Bible verse for you, and it's been for me, is it says here in Exodus chapter 3 verse 12, God said to Moses, I will certainly be with you, and this shall be a sign to you that I have sent you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you shall serve God on this mountain. So God's basically saying here that when you actually bring people out of Egypt and serve God on this mountain, that's going to be the sign that I am with you. Now, obviously, he spoke to God. He got directions from God and whatnot. A lot more than I think most people are going to be able to get. But it's encouraging to know that, well, one, I guess Moses was unsure if God was truly with him based on the call, the weight of the call of God on his life. But to know that, like, he's going to go through the process, and then God said, when you get through the process and you get to this place, that's how you know that I'm with you. So I'm like, man, maybe in a year, maybe 2 years, maybe it's going to take some suffering and some struggle and some long nights and some many days of wanting to quit but pushing through to realize that I stick with it, that God is with me, because now look at the fruit. Now there's purpose. And you want to know what? As long as I set my sight and my perspective on the right thing, which is there's certain people in my life, a handful of people that I would love to see come to Jesus Christ. If those people came to Christ through my message, through the music that I'm creating, then that would be worth it. So I have to just shift my perspective. This is not about how am I going to make money? How am I going to, you know, blow up and get big and be famous and live my dream? Like, that's all cool. That's byproduct stuff, but that's not the main reason, and it shouldn't be the main reason. And I think that, you know, as long as I hone my craft and, you know, just step up daily and pursue this thing in faith, the clarity will come, the blessing will come, the fruit will come. So I want you guys to be part of that journey. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think that moving this way will resonate with a lot of people, even if you're not really a Bible believer. Like, this is not content that I'm trying to share only to a Christian audience. I'm trying to just serve people with the knowledge that I have in audio, but I'm also trying to now just be a human being. Like, I'm not just trying to be behind the scenes. Like, I'm not just trying to make every video sound like an ad. You know, I really want to just be relatable and formulate a community of people that are like-minded, that could be vulnerable in the comment sections and just share their experiences and their struggles and whatnot. And I think it'll be dope. So if you like this video, make sure that you hit that like button. If you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe so that you can be part of this journey. Leave a comment and let me know what you think about this, if I'm just wacko crazy out of my mind, or if I'm onto something and you want to also join in on this journey with me as well. And yeah, I think that's it. You know, like, comment, subscribe, share if you'd like to with anybody that you know. And until the next video, may God bless you. Peace.